As the country's largest city and economic hub, Colombo offers a unique mix of cosmopolitan energy and traditional charm. Its strategic location along the Indian Ocean made it a prominent port for ancient traders, including the Greeks, Arabs, and Chinese. The city's most prominent landmark is the Lotus Tower, the tallest structure in South Asia. The project was initiated in 2012 by the Sri Lankan government to enhance the country's telecommunications infrastructure and promote tourism. It was eventually officially inaugurated in 2019.
Now, let's begin our journey through this remarkable country and discover its most wonderful places. Sigiriya, the Lion Rock. Sigiriya is one of humanity's most remarkable achievements. Rising from the Central Plains, this ancient rock fortress stands as proof to the ingenuity and artistry of Sri Lanka's ancient civilization. As you approach Sigiriya, you'll be struck by its sheer presence. A massive column of rock rising 200 meters into the sky, crowned with the ruins of an ancient palace. The name Lion Rock becomes clear when you reach the northern entrance, where enormous lion paws carved from rock guard the final ascent to the summit. But this isn't just any fortress. It's one of the finest examples of urban planning from the ancient world. Walking through the water gardens at the base, you'll notice the sophisticated hydraulic systems that still function after 1,500 years. These symmetrical gardens, with their fountains and pools, show remarkable engineering skill. During the rainy season, they still come alive with flowing water, just as they did in ancient times. As you begin your ascent, you'll pass through terraced gardens that seem to merge with the natural rock, creating a seamless blend of human creativity and natural beauty. Halfway up, you'll encounter one of Sigiriya's most famous features, the mirror wall and the ancient frescoes. These colorful paintings of celestial maidens have survived for over 15 centuries. The mirror wall was once polished so smoothly that the king could see his reflection in it. Now it bears witness to ancient visitors through their graffiti, some dating back to the 8th century, a climb that rewards you with one of Sri Lanka's most breathtaking views. Standing at the top of the flat summit, you can see for miles across the jungle canopy. The foundations of the palace complex still remain, and as you walk among them, you can imagine the grand chambers and royal quarters that once stood here. At sunset, the whole site takes on a golden glow, and you understand why this place was chosen for a palace fit for gods. Located in the hills by a peaceful lake, Kandy has a regal and holy atmosphere. As you approach the temple of the sacred tooth relic, you'll notice how the white structure stands in contrast to the deep green hills surrounding it. This temple, known as Sri Dalada Maligawa, houses Sri Lanka's most important Buddhist relic, a tooth of the Buddha himself. The temple complex is a place of profound spiritual significance, where daily rituals have been performed for centuries. Walking through the temple grounds, you'll be struck by the sense of devotion that fills the air. The sweet smell of incense mingles with the fragrance of temple flowers as devotees make their offerings. In the main shrine room, gold caskets house the sacred relic, while wood carvings and painted murals tell stories from Buddhist scripture. The famous Esala Perahera festival transforms Kandy into a spectacular display of Sri Lankan culture every year. For 10 nights, illuminated elephants parade through the streets, accompanied by traditional dancers, drummers, and fire performers. This ancient tradition celebrates the sacred tooth relic and provides one of Asia's most magnificent cultural spectacles. Beyond the temple, Kandy's charm lies in its living culture. The Royal Palace Park offers peaceful walks along the lake, where you can watch white egrets glide across the water as the sun sets behind the hills. Visit the nearby spice gardens to learn about Ceylon's famous cinnamon and other aromatic treasures that once drew traders from across the ancient world. Nuwara Eliya. Next up, we'll climb higher into Sri Lanka's misty highlands to reach Nuwara Eliya, a slice of England nestled in the tropics. At an elevation of nearly 2,000 meters, this charming town offers a refreshing escape from the island's tropical heat. As you drive through winding mountain roads, you'll be mesmerized by the endless waves of emerald tea plantations. Perfectly manicured tea bushes carpet the hillsides, Early morning mists drift across these hills, creating an ethereal landscape that seems to belong in a painting. The colonial influence is immediately apparent in Nuwara Eliya's architecture. The famous Grand Hotel, with its Tudor facade and manicured lawns, takes you back to the height of the British colonial era. But the real treasure of Nuwara Elaya lies in its tea estates. Visit one of the historic tea factories, where age-old traditions of tea processing continue today. Watch as expert tea pluckers move skillfully through the tea bushes, selecting only the finest leaves. Inside the factories, the air is filled with the fresh aroma of Ceylon's finest tea as it moves through the traditional oxidation process. Victoria Park, in the heart of town, offers peaceful walks among flower gardens that bloom spectacularly in spring. The nearby Gregory Lake provides opportunities for boat rides and peaceful picnics with views of the surrounding mountains. Early morning walks through the tea plantations reward you with stunning sunrise views and the chance to see tea pluckers beginning their day's work. The cool climate makes this the perfect place for outdoor activities, from golf at the historic Hill Club to exploring the nearby Horton Plains National Park. Islands, we now descend to the wild southeastern coast, where Yala National Park showcases Sri Lanka's remarkable biodiversity. Peacocks dance in morning light, their iridescent feathers catching the sun's first rays. Waterholes draw a parade of wildlife throughout the day. Painted storks walk gracefully through the shallows, while crocodiles bask on sandy banks. Herds of spotted deer move through the grasslands, always alert for predators. Now let's head inland to Polonnaruwa, where the ruins of an ancient kingdom tell tales of Sri Lanka's golden age. This UNESCO World Heritage Site served as the country's capital from the 11th to 13th centuries, and its remains still inspire awe today. As you enter the ancient city, you're immediately struck by the scale of the monuments. The massive dagobas, stupas, rise against the sky, their white domes gleaming in the sunlight. These structures were built with remarkable precision. The Rankot Vihara stands 54 meters tall, each brick placed with perfect alignment that has withstood centuries. The star attraction is the Gal Vihara, where 4 massive Buddha statues were carved from a single granite wall. The reclining Buddha stretches 14 meters long, its serene expression and flowing robes carved with incredible detail. The standing Buddha, reaching towards the sky, shows such perfect proportions that it's considered one of Asia's. Walking through the ancient city, you'll discover the Royal Palace complex. The 7-story palace of King Parakramabahu once stood here, its grand audience halls open to petitioners from across Asia. Today, the thick walls still stand, giving you a sense of the grandeur that once existed. The quadrangle, a compact group of ruins in the ancient city's heart, contains some of Polonnaruwa's finest monuments. The Vatadaj, a circular relic house, represents the peak of ancient Sri Lankan architecture. Its intricate stone carvings and perfectly proportioned design show the remarkable skill of these ancient craftsmen. Nature adds to Polonarua's charm. A sacred footprint at the summit, claimed by Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, and Christians as their own. The pilgrimage traditionally begins in the middle of the night. You join a stream of pilgrims ascending the 5,500 steps to the peak. The path is illuminated by lights, creating a glowing ribbon that winds up the mountainside. The sound of temple bells and Buddhist chants fills the air, adding to the spiritual atmosphere. As you climb higher, you'll notice how the air becomes cooler and crisper. A unique sense of community. The final stretch is the steepest, but the anticipation of reaching the summit drives you forward. Metal handrails assist your climb as the steps become increasingly vertical. Then suddenly, you're there, standing at the summit of this sacred mountain. The temple at the top houses the sacred footprint, covered in offerings of flowers and coins. But the real magic happens as the sun begins to rise. As the first light appears, the mountain casts a perfect triangular shadow across the misty valleys below. The sunrise from Adams Peak is unlike any other. Watching the day begin from above the clouds is an experience you'll never forget. The sound of temple bells, the smell of incense, and the sight of pilgrims in prayer create an atmosphere of profound reverence. Sri Lanka's last viable area of primary tropical rainforest.